Teach South Africa was established in 2005 to support the Department of Education on the development of basic education and distribution pertinent teaching skills. Teach SA signed up 50 graduates from leading South African universities, placing them in schools where their skills are mostly needed within disadvantaged areas. Earlier this month, Teach South Africa honoured these teachers, whom they call ambassadors for their work, at a seminar held at the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. Sunrise was there, and this is what we had.
Teach SA is an NGO that seeks to assist the Department of Education with the lack of fully trained young and vibrant teachers
6, 7, 8.
to fill vacancies for subjects such as maths, science, English and IT in underprivileged and struggling schools, focusing on rural and township schools. The Department of Education identifies the schools that need the most assistance, and Teach SA sources teachers whom they call ambassadors and deploy them when the need is great. On the 1st of October 2011, Teach SA hosted a seminar and cocktail event at the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls, where these ambassadors were being honoured for their hard work and the 2 years they have dedicated in educating South Africa's youths in different provinces. One of the founders and chairperson of Teach SA, Futin Toba, opened the event by welcoming all the ambassadors, mentors and private sector and representatives from the Department of Education. We caught up with the chairperson of Teach SA and had a few words with her. This is what she had to say about her involvement.
We are faced with an environment that we have to compete globally. And unless we address the fundamentals of making Africa competitive, we will not be able to compete globally. So in South Africa, we had a challenge around science and maths education, and the private sector invests a lot in education, and so does the government. Government alone cannot be able to deliver on the social challenges that the country faces. So it becomes very important that private sector, government and civil society collaborate in trying to address these issues.
The Teach SA ambassadors are university graduates that do not necessarily major in teaching, but have the strong desire to impart some knowledge to young people in our schools. We spent a few minutes with one of the ambassadors from Teach SA, Chantal Hulitz. She shared her experience with us and her motivation to become involved.
Teaching is not for the faint-hearted at all. I do love it. It wasn't something that I always wanted to do, to be honest. I sort of didn't have the best opinions about teaching. After I did my honours, I was thinking I want to do my master's. But because of the work I'd been doing in Philippi, I sort of had this feeling that I wanted to do something else. I wasn't sure, so I went to the career centre, I made an appointment. But while I was waiting in the receptionist area, I opened up a magazine, I flipped through it and opened up a page with an ad for Teach South Africa. And so when you apply, you need to be willing to move where you are needed, because that's the point of the job. When I got there, they actually surprised me because they were eager to listen to me, they were polite. Some teachers were very welcoming, they're interested in who you are, they hear where you come from, and they're excited, because they want the help, they're eager to have you there. With me, it begins with a passion for the subject. I've always loved English, And so when I teach it, it's not something I'm doing like it's a chore. I actually enjoy what's happening. And therefore it translates into the classroom with my kids and they start to pick it up. And we have fun with the subject.
The students involved are the most critical part of this project, as they are the ones who benefit the most. Their cooperation is critical, and the fact that they come from different backgrounds can prove to be a challenge, but at the same time is no stumbling block to a willing mind. As we soon found out from our chat with Andile, a grade 12 student at Katlehong High School.
An ambassador is that most of them are very young and they're full of energy, and then they give us that enthusiasm to go with them, with the flow. Well, I can say that they are able to implement different methods from understanding that we as learners cannot have the the same understanding or the same method of teaching, because some of us understand when we hear, some of us understand when we see, some of us understand when we touch and things like that. So she understood that, and she kind of like knew that if only she brings up that method, it would be effective in making other kids understand. Miss Hewlett was able to bring that change in our pass rate, and we hope and believe that by the end of the year, Katlehong High School will have a better pass rate in English and all the other subjects as well.
Teach SA has 3 founders, Mrs. Futi Mtoba, Dr. Matumang Diaho, and Mr. Richard Masemola. We spent time with them and spoke to Dr. Diaho about her involvement in this initiative.
And the concept and the philosophy behind Teach South Africa extends more than that. It takes individuals in this country who are very bright and get them to go back and give 2 years of their lives. They could have become anything after university, but they've taken 2 years of their lives to come and teach learners in our mostly disadvantaged schools. And that for me is right up at the top of what I see as contribution and giving back. We would not be able to be inside any South African school. Nobody can operate inside a South African school without the Department of Education being your partner. They are our biggest partners. Every year we're in contact with the Department of Education, because their responsibility, first of all, is they contract the ambassadors once we've taken them through the basic training, and they put them through the schools that are selected by the Department of Education. And thirdly, they're the ones that actually pay them the teacher salaries, because contractually they are in the schools because they're teachers during that time.
Mr. Richard Masemola, also one of the founders, found that his background in the teaching profession helped a lot in getting this project off the ground. We spoke to him about the importance of understanding the internal affairs of the teaching sector so as to get all the relevant stakeholders' support.
You know, postgraduate students, those that have not done education measures, who have not specialized in teaching as a qualification. Because we believe that those are the converted. They are already having their heart, they have already decided to go and teach. So we want to reroute those that have walked away from teaching because of either parents having encouraged them not to take teaching because it's not attractive, or they should not go and teach because it's not safe in the teaching space, and all sorts of myths and misconceptions about the profession. We want to have those to come back, because we know most of these graduates, once they taste teaching, they want to stay.
The Department of Education, which is responsible for the teaching sector in this country, has been very supportive of Teach SA, has played a critical role in making sure that schools that need the most help receive it.
There's a number of challenges. I think as a department, those challenges, we're taking them in our stride, and we're ensuring that Gauteng Department of Education is coming off one of the best, but then also our schools, particularly schools in the rural and the township schools, are becoming the best. And that in itself, we're having a number of programs around how we turn around schools that are not delivering properly, particularly and specifically delivering in matric results, better matric results. But that can only happen in schools from grade R, moving upwards, is working in a way that then begins to make sense. A big cohort of your teachers, say ambassadors in the province, but then also that some of the schools in Gauteng has been one of those schools that have been turned around. And then in the past we used to be number 2, number 3 in terms of the matric results. We're number 1 this past year, and we're hoping that we actually must then begin to take on the challenge of the actual late for everybody to go much more higher than the percentage that we got last year as well. And Teach SA is part of that effort.
So it has been proven. With private sector and the government working together to shape the lives and future of our younger generation, there can be no stopping our young people from reaching their full potential.
Sunrise's Nombongo Korti produced that insert telling us more about the essential work done by Teach SA with the support of the Department of Education. A reminder on those numbers, 011-209-8066, or you can email them, apply@teachsouthafrica.org. After the break, we're speaking to Danny Kay and Kabelo, they're the musicians, as well as Marissa Oosthuizen from Crimeline to talk more about the Shout SA initiative. You don't want to miss that. Stay with us.